Hello everybody and welcome to another reaction video, and today we're going to be revisiting a band that I checked out almost exactly a year ago. A band called Unlucky Morpheus, a Japanese metal band. And I think the last track I actually checked out of theirs was a track called Black Pentagram. And I seem to recall I actually really enjoyed it because they mixed up the style of music so much. You know, they were throwing in elements of power metal, speed metal, they were throwing in progressive metal, they were just mixing up all the different kinds of music that they used, and I've got something in my eye. You know, and I've got quite a big collection of Japanese metal as well, so, you know, Japanese metal is not something I'm exactly unfamiliar with. So, yes, today we're going to be looking at a track called CADAVER REVADAC, which is just cadaver written backwards, which is actually a track I've been asked for quite a lot from this band. So yes, it's about time I got around to it. I do have some lyrics here, the English translation. I don't know how accurate that is going to be, but it's the only English translation that I could find. So we'll see what we can glean from it as we go through that. I'm guessing that, you know, the translation, while it might not be entirely accurate, we'll still get the same sort of idea as to what the song is about. And given the fact that the song is called Cadaver, why do I keep pronouncing cadaver wrong? Given the name of the song, you know, you can kind of guess where the song might be going. But anyway, we'll see what we see. So we'll just jump to the track now. So this is Cadaver by Unlucky Morpheus. Let's have a look. I'm just gonna pause it for a minute there. I'm probably right near the end of the song. I don't know, because I know the track is around about 9 minutes long, and we seem to have gone through all of the lyrics already. But there's just so much to take in with this track. I mean, it's fast and heavy right from the bloody start. You know, right in your face, and you know you can't help but be impressed by the prowess of this band. You know, that it all sounds great, and you know I probably said this the last time I saw a band of a track of theirs, but that violin I just love. Violins are one of those things I absolutely love the sound of them. You know, it's one of my favourite instruments. I just think it's a beautiful sounding instrument, but it's just so impressive. You know, to maintain that sort of speed throughout music like this. You know, it's exhausting. So, you know, you can't help but be impressed by these people. Like I said, we're probably right near the end of the track. I won't bother reading through the lyrics right now. I'll do that at the end. But, yeah, let's carry on. Oh, I stopped it literally right at the end. has it actually finished this time? Yes. Right, well, that caught me a bit by surprise. There, I thought the song had ended, and then it just went into well, not a completely separate song, but it went into the second half of the song, essentially. Well, essentially, it is a second song, but it's the second half of the same song. So, yeah, that made me look a little bit silly, didn't it? Now, I'll talk about the first half. Well, you know, I've got to say, I love the way they did the transition in the video. You know, the song ended, they pulled out, and the word cadaver came up, and then the word sort of switched around and the camera went back in, and it almost looked like the first video played in reverse. It was very, very clever. Very, very clever. I like the way they did that. Now, as I said, you know, impressive band, you know, to maintain that sort of speed whilst, you know, performing. It's really, really hard. It's very, very impressive to see it. Now, obviously, with the song being the first part of the song being called Cadaver, obviously, there's something to do with dead bodies going in there, and by the look of it, it's possibly talking about. It almost seems like it's talking about the transition of the spirit into the afterlife. Almost, that's what it seems to sound like. The song starts off. As I said before, I'll just clarify. This translation might not be perfect. This is the only one I can find. Anyway, it goes, I will go back here where my rotten dead body has been marked with flames. Its shape turned into red ashes, it shines in its stone container. The new and full moon surrounds us and disappear, carrying our fate. Like a jewel it comes with its eternal light, and for its beautiful last moment time has stopped. Where shall I go at the end of the trip? I've fallen in the world of death. My white bones will handle in the future. My momentary dying wish becomes my guide. I want a proof of my existence, only the spirits leaves it behind. Like a jewel it becomes with its eternal light, and for its beautiful last moment time has stopped. A miracle is coming, time is coming back. So, from what I can make out of that, it's talking about the fact, you know, they're conscious of the fact that they are dead, you know, the sort of their consciousness, as it were, their spirit or something, is contemplating what to do next, you know, if it's going into the afterlife, because it says, I want proof of my existence, only the spirits leaves it behind. And the last line there, a miracle is coming, time is coming back. You know, so after the body died, you know, there was a point in time where they were just sort of floating around going, okay, now what? And now they're realising that they can further live on in an afterlife, and you know, essentially they're getting time back, just not in a physical manifestation. That's what it seems to suggest. Then we went on to the Revadac, which is actually a slightly different style in music as well. The first, you know, track and the first half of the song and the second half of the song actually sounded quite different, but both also worked very, very well together. And again, I've got English translations for this. I actually had to look it up during the video because I didn't realise the song was in two halves. So I have an English translation for this as well. Again, I don't know how accurate it will be. But the song carried on. If I could turn back the time I took, I wanted you again. I can find a dead body without a trace to a precious stone, even if you disobey the cause by loving you. Elegantly deceiving God with this hand until you revive. Summon its sentiment, look for this runaway, encounter its regret, let's play his star colour. This chest holding a form rare miracle, the glow of a loved one is still beautiful. Let's kill the god several times until you survive. Reunite with that girl, delusions his twinning, when its faith rises you will return here. See, now that translation almost made no sense, but from what you can sort of glean from it is talking about bringing someone back from the dead. I mean, it says they're elegantly deceiving God with this hand until you revive. So it's like defying God and trying to bring you back to life. And there was a line further down, let's kill God several times until you survive, which again sounds like, you know, let's denounce God, let's, you know, spit in the face of God, essentially, you know, and bring you back from the dead. That's essentially what it sounds like it's saying. The actual translation was, it sounded like it was an almost literal word-for-word translation of the Japanese. Not an, you know, it's not a very good, not a very good translation, because, you know, if you do the literal translation, sometimes it makes no sense. And the last part down there, it sounds like, you know, they want to bring this person back to life so that they can be with this person that they loved. It says, reunite with that girl. When its faith rises, you will return here. So it's like, reunite with this woman, you know, with the person that you loved, or something like that, I'm guessing. It says, delusions his twinning. So I'm guessing that's probably something to do with, you know, wanting to be with this partner again. And, you know, it was a very confusing translation. But musically, it was brilliantly performed. You know, the whole thing was just fantastically performed. I actually really enjoyed that. Like I said, I'm no stranger to Japanese music, and all too often, a lot of Japanese metal and music can fall into a sort of typical trope where it all sounds like it should be the opening for an anime. But you do get some good Japanese bands that really sort of go spectacular, and this is one of those bands. I mean, throwing the violin in there is just a stroke of genius, because it really works, and, you know, it really augments the guitar solos at one point, you know, because they're playing a guitar solo and there's a violin in there, and it makes the sound just phenomenal. You know, it's a fantastic track, or couple of tracks, should I say, since it is technically 2 songs in one video. Yes, that did catch me a bit by surprise when the second half came in. I had to very hurriedly look up the lyrics, but very good piece of music. It's such amazing talent musically as well. It's really good, very impressive. I very much enjoyed that. Can't really think of much else to say about it, so I'll leave it at that. If anybody has a suggestion of a track they'd like for me to react to, then please do so by all means. You can drop a comment in the comment section below, or message me on my Facebook or my Instagram, or you could even message me through my Patreon, where you could also help to support this channel, which would be very nice and very helpful for me, since I can't actually monetize any of these videos on YouTube because, well, the copyrighted content, whoever's music appears in the video, they get all of the profits made from the video. I don't see a single bit of it. So, you know, that would be kind of helpful. Do know, though, if you do make a suggestion, it might take me a while to get around to it, because I do get suggested so many tracks every single day that, you know, my list grows faster than I can record the videos. But I do write down every suggestion I get, so it will get done eventually. It's just going to take me a while to get around to it. Also, Metalhead Reacts is a proud supporter of the Sophie Lancaster Foundation, a British-based charity whose main goal is to put an end to hate crimes, specifically those aimed towards people of the alternative culture. And it's something I feel very strongly about, something I'm very passionate about, because people of the alternative culture have, for years, for as long as I've been a member, and definitely going on longer than I've been dealing with, you know, we've been dealing with the fact that we're getting singled out and violently attacked because we stand out from the crowd, because we're different, because we choose not to be sheep, because we choose to be individuals, you know. And we are getting violently attacked, just because of our taste in music, just because we choose to be different. And it's unacceptable. So people are getting really badly hurt. People are getting hospitalised because of it, you know. And it doesn't get spoken about. Nothing gets done about it. And we need to bring more attention to it. Because it only ever gets spoken about when a tragedy happens. Like, there was a punk in America several years ago who got run over intentionally. The person driving the car intentionally hit him with his car and killed him. And he got away with it because the guy he killed was just a punk, and the guy in the car was one of these varsity football scholarship kinds. And the judge didn't want to ruin his future career by sending him to jail. And he got away with it because the guy he hit was just a punk. You know, that's unacceptable. And, you know, that was on the news, that sort of thing. And then there was the Sophie Lancaster incident. You know, Sophie Lancaster, Rob Maltby, minding their own business, got severely assaulted and beaten and brutalised by a group of 5 or 6 people. And, you know, Sophie Lancaster spent 13 days in a coma before she eventually died. And that got covered by the news as well. And I can guarantee you that since either of those things happened, thousands of more violent attacks have occurred against people of the alternative culture. But nothing ever gets mentioned about it. You know, all these other things like these privileged white people that are calling the police on, you know, African American families who are sitting down and having a picnic in a public space. You know, this sort of thing gets covered by the news. But nothing ever gets said about these people that are getting violently attacked. You know, people are getting hospitalised. People are getting victimised because they listen to alternative music. You know, nothing gets spoken about, but it's still happening. And these are violent, violent crimes. And it happens every single day, but nothing ever gets said. And this is what the Sophie Lancaster Foundation is all about. They want to bring more attention to the fact that this is happening. You know, they want more people to know what is going on. They want people to see that, you know, people are getting seriously abused, violently attacked, just because of their taste in music. And it's unacceptable. You know, people don't seem to think that it matters. Just because we listen to alternative music doesn't make us a lesser part of the species. Doesn't make us less worthy of protection or, you know, attention to the fact that we are getting attacked. You know, and you know, we've got to bring more attention to it. We've got to make it so that people realise that there are circumstances to doing this sort of thing. You know, you can't just attack someone and get away with it. It's not acceptable that people think that that's a thing. And, you know, we need to put a stop to that fact. People need to sit there and actually think, hold on, if I do this, I could get into a lot of trouble. You know, if I do this, I could get arrested. If I do this, I might end up accidentally killing someone. You know, so, you know, we need to bring more attention to this. It needs to be spoken about more. This sort of thing needs to be brought into the forefront so more people are aware of the fact that this is happening. If you'd like to find out more about the Sophie Lancaster Foundation, there is a link to their website in the description below. You can pop over there, find out what they're working on at the moment, find out what their main goal is, because they can explain it a lot better than I can. And if you can help them out in any small way, you know, even if it's a very small donation on their website or even one of these Sophie wristbands from their web store, you know, obviously you don't feel obliged to, but if you can, you know, it's very much appreciated because the smallest amount can make the biggest difference. And the sooner we bring more attention to this, the sooner we can stamp out prejudice, hatred, and intolerance everywhere. But I'm going to leave that as it is for the time being. Thank you all very, very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.